What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another video. This is the chapter 255 Jujutsu Kaisen review. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video. So, there's three main points that I want to talk about in this review. And it's gonna, go along with what's going on with the chapter. So the first thing is the revelation of Miguel's abilities and motivation. So what's interesting about this chapter is it sheds lights on Miguel's character, revealing his abilities and motivation. So the chapter actually starts off with them saving as far as Kusakabe. When I say they, I mean Miguel and LaRue. And we haven't seen LaRue since Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. It is very interesting that they're all coming back as far as now. We already know the cycle of Sukuna recently, and I think that because of the unknown factor of Miguel, that this may turn the tides, basically, because if not, it's just all like, why are we bringing new characters just to smoke them? I guess to, I don't know, bring until everyone else gets healed, but it's very, very interesting. So we get a flashback, and it looks like we're going back to Africa. And this is where we get, some backstory between Miguel, Yuta, and LaRue. Now, we're not sure as far as when this takes place, but we can assume that it's probably during the 1 month time scale. And it's funny because Miguel is just like, yo, you want me to fight someone who is stronger or who may be able to defeat Gojo? And it's funny because after this back and forth between Yuta and Miguel, LaRue's just all like, hey, Yuta, let me go ahead and talk to Miguel by itself. And so we get as far as the reasoning why LaRue's just all like, yo, let's just go ahead and do this. But the thing is that Miguel's all like, all right, we can do this, but I have some conditions. He's just all like, for one, you know, Sukuna cannot be able to use his domain expansion, and also, okay, so his conditions are I'm not serving my head on a platter to someone who can use their domain. We'll only fight after Gojo and Yuta have lost and Sukuna's domain is inoperable. And so that's what we get as far as currently what's going on. And it looks like, and Miguel's just all like, seems his domain is properly sealed, which I've heard other people, talk about this because it's just like, why did he use that particular word, sealed? And they mentioned he has an unhealed heart, and so Miguel's just like, I almost feel bad. They saved us the most delicious part. I had to make sure that I was reading that correctly. And so we get as far as the LaRue's attack as well, understanding what that is. He goes and he grabs Sakura, pushes her back with his large hand. And then Miguel's sitting up there breakdancing, freaking. It gets his freaking Sakuna's cleaves and dismantles, and it is crazy. But we find out LaRue's technique. LaRue's technique, harp catch, can grip the technique's target. Even if destroyed, the illusionary hand can be reinitialized an indefinite amount of times, with only 1/10 of the damage being transferred back to LaRue's own body. But Sukuna's just all like, that's not really all that in a bag of chips. But he was all like, Miguel's curse technique, Hakuna Lana. The beat etched by his body expels curses and enhances his own physical capabilities. Miguel's technique is like shooting off buffs and defaults without the use of a domain. Sure, it's useful, but it's not exactly scary. And then Miguel's just like, hey, why do you know my curse technique? I can tell by just looking at you. Now, he's all like, now the real frightening thing is that build. That's scary. He's all like, and we get some exposition because Gojo lets us know 99% of all sorcerers are Japanese. Add a cursed energy buff to these guys' physical and muscle mass, which are crazy rare in Japan, and the result is pretty much menacing. Now, what I thought was interesting about this is, what do y'all think? Do y'all think on physical strength, Miguel can beat, you know, freaking Megumi's father? I don't know why his name is slipping my mind right now because he's like one of the coldest people. But on a physical level, do you think that he could beat him? Now, what's interesting as well is Toto, if he was at full body, because Toto is pretty powerful as well, and I'm almost curious to know between physical strength. First, we gotta be like, could Gojo beat Toto? With just physical strength alone, because of the explanation that was brought here as far as like the curse buffs and different things like that and the mask. But hey, that could be really, really dope. Now, we also find out as far as about Sukuna. So this is the second point that I want to make in this review here. Now, we find out that Sukuna had a binding vow, which restricts his ability to use the world-cutting dismantle without fulfilling specific conditions. And this is the revelation that clarifies how Sukuna managed to hit Gojo with being so damaged, and so we're sitting there and we're just all like, okay, now there's a lot of Gojo coming back copium, because for the last several chapters, and it could just simply be because Gojo is an important character, and so with all of these things happening, it would make sense that there would be a lot of Gojo. But with the reveal of volume 26 and the back and forth between whether that is Gojo opening his eyes coming back or him noticing the world cutting slash before it was too late, as it was too late. And so there's a lot of speculation as far as with that. But within this fight, which goes into the third thing, we do get first we get a freaking little shadow. We see it Choso, and Sukuna does notice him. He hits a piercing blood, but then coming from the top ropes, we get Yuji coming down with a hard attack. Like, it is breaking all of the stuff, the concrete and everything that Sukuna's on. Even the way Sukuna's like bracing itself, I was just all like, dang. And it's funny because Sukuna still hits him with the "you're still around," which I thought was super, super hilarious. But then, not only that, we get Maki, and she looks all crazy. And Sukuna's just like, even after eating a black flash, she's here. Now, what's interesting is this is where it goes in. So Yuji says this. He can't complete the hand sides with only his right arms, and his reverse curse technique still isn't functional. We can win. It's finally all coming together. Everyone's hard work all for this moment. But unfortunately, we see the black flash, Yo, he just landed a mean backfast on LaRue. Now, this is where we find out. It says Gojo Satoru restored his lost reverse curse technique output by landing the second black flash. Now, in the King of Curses case, the ominous black light shine beckons all ill omen. Now, it's interesting that they left it at this particular cliffhanger. Reason being, because this gets into my third point, which is the foreshadowing. Man, I feel like there's a lot of foreshadowing here because things have to switch up in order for the story to progress. Things need to switch up, which means that we do need some type of W. It doesn't mean that they'll fully defeat Sukuna right now, but we need some sort of W. Now, we're getting in round 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. And what's interesting is Yuta's still not back. I don't think that he's dead. And I've seen a lot of people break down the differences between Sukuna's world cutting slashes and the positioning and the pointing of it, as well as his cleaving dismantle. So I don't think Yuta's dead. Now, there's a lot of stuff that could be going on. Now out of everybody other than maybe Yuji, but Yuta, Kusakabe, Hibaruma, the lawyer guy, like they all got some pretty like fatal. Even Gojo, you know. Kashimo is not-existent. He's probably shredded freaking lumps on the ground, which is crazy. If everyone ends up coming back, it's gonna be wild. But like I said, to move the story forward, we need some changes done. So in regards to this chapter is really, really dope because for one, we get some backstory with Miguel, and I'm actually very curious because I actually started making like a fan fiction of like the Jujutsu Kaisen sorcery over in Africa. Because I was just all like, man, Miguel's such an interesting character. And, even though he's plastered around the internet getting completely violated by Gojo, we do have to take into consideration that he pretty much left that fight pretty much unscathed. Weirdly, I didn't really notice it. I mean, I noticed it, but I didn't think nothing of it because of the context. So when I saw, and we knew Gojo was powerful, but it was very interesting that and I think they made him, Miguel, the MVP of the night of whatchamacallit. So that's gonna be interesting. The foreshadowing here, I think this could be foreshadowing Gojo coming back. If so, I don't know what that's going to mean for the story. I think even with Gojo being nerfed, let's just say that he were to do a binding vow, get rid of his 6 eyes, because I thought that it was very interesting that Sukuna brought that up, during the fight as far as with Yuta and Yuji, because that can either, I mean, it could be several different things. It can not mean anything to, just his observation. It can mean that Yuta, with obtaining the 6 eyes through Gojo, which could also lead into why we haven't seen Yuta come back yet. Somehow Yuta's able to swap eyes or something like that. He's able to get the 6 eyes. Now, the other thing may be Gojo and Yuta coming back, but Gojo doesn't have his 6 eyes, which then begs the question, will he still be able to use Limitless efficiently because of what we know about curses and, Yuji, they mentioned as far as Yuji being able to use Sukuna's attacks and different things like that because he's been soaked in sukuna. Now, what about somebody who has used a curse skill all of their life? Again, it may not be as powerful, but I think someone as Gojo, who's as efficient as he is, it would still be able to do something good. So then it begs also the question is if Gojo comes back, are they going to set him up to die again? Type of things. And if he does stay, what does all this stuff mean? Does it mean that everyone but Yuji is gonna survive, like Gege might have said, or everyone's gonna die and only Yuji's gonna survive, type of thing? And could there be a way for both of them to technically happen? Let me know in the comments. But this is Miss Composition MC that writes fiction, back at it with another video. Again, this is the chapter 255 review of Jujutsu Kaisen. So make sure, like, subscribe, notification bells on so you won't miss when I drop a new video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure to check out the description for my music, my books, my comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.